Hi, everybody. All right. So I got the request from some of you to talk about what I think makes a fulfilling life, what makes life meaningful. And so I put together a couple thoughts, and I look forward to seeing if this is meaningful for you. And as always, I like to any question that I'm exploring, I like to present to you for your own self-reflection first, before I might, bias you with my answers. I invite you to maybe take a few deep breaths and connect with this question and see what answers come up for you. Of all questions, this is particularly important one for you to self-reflect and find your own most resonant response to that and to live it. So, what makes life meaningful? What is the pathway to a fulfilling life? I welcome you to pause this recording if you like and jot a few notes or just reflect on this. If you'd like to add a comment below, of course, I would be happy to see that, and it might inspire others to reflect some additionally as well. Okay, so ultimately, I'll cut to the chase on what I think makes a meaningful life, and then I'll kind of build backwards into how the foundation is set. I think a meaningful life and a fulfilling life happens when we witness growth, basically. And what that means is when we witness growth within ourselves, growth that is, you know, that we can observe, not just bodily growth. Sure, aging, witnessing the growth of our bodies, is meaningful in some ways. Of course, deeply distressing for some people, but it has a lot of spiritual opportunity there. But what I mean is personal growth. We witnessed within ourselves. I went through something hard. I survived it. I learned from it. I became different because of it. Sometimes growth is not always positive. We may observe witnessing our own growth in negative ways. That itself is meaningful. Maybe it's not fulfilling, but certainly meaningful, and may inspire us to change the trajectory of our life and therefore grow in more fulfilling ways. Okay? So, first, witnessing our own growth, either going through something difficult or doing, ideally, we don't just go through tragedy and trauma and then survive it and then that's meaningful. Ideally, we put hardships on ourselves and grow from that. Why would you put hardships on yourself? Well, any project that's worthwhile is difficult. If it wasn't difficult, the I guess maybe the way I say it, the more difficult a project is, the more meaningful it is as you accomplish it. Whether or not the project had a fantastic outcome or not is set aside. Ideally, it does as well. And of course, the project of choosing worthwhile projects is itself difficult. Selecting what to do with your time, with your life, with your one precious life is difficult. Now, set aside the fact that I don't believe we only have one precious life, but right now, let's say in this life, selecting what to do with your precious time is difficult. And making good choice, learning to make good choices for your time is meaningful. And then doing the projects that you believe are worthwhile, therefore, as you age and look back and say, what did I do with my time that was really worthwhile? It's a good question to ask yourself. That's part of how you can answer the question of what's meaningful for you, what's fulfilling for you, by looking back and go, already up to now, what have I done has made me feel fulfilled? has made this a meaningful life? Feel free to comment below if you like. For me, it's the relationships I've cultivated, for sure. It's the work that I've done that others have benefited from, for sure, right? It's also the work I've done that has set me up for a financially stable life. That's also meaningful too. Ideally, it's both. Financially stable work that also deeply contributes to others that I can see their growth. So that brings me to the next level of growth, right? Witnessing our own growth, and then witnessing the growth of others is deeply meaningful and fulfilling, especially if we had a hand in that, in their growth, then it's really fulfilling for us. That's why teaching is such a fulfilling career for a lot of people, right? That's why service jobs, helping professions tend to be more meaningful jobs for people, because you see people change from a I need help situation to you helped me. What can be more meaningful and fulfilling than that kind of work, right? To actually witness change, witness transformation in other people and within yourself. Like ideally, the work we do is most fulfilling when we can see both the transformation within ourselves and within other people in the same work. That's amazing, right? So witnessing that, and then also a third level would be witnessing the transformation of society. That's meaningful, hopefully fulfilling too, especially if you feel like you had a hand in contributing to some movement in society and seeing it change over time for the better. Then it's like, yeah, I was a meaningful member of the positive growth of society. So essentially, I think that's what makes a meaningful, fulfilling life, is to do whatever we can with our precious time to foster meaningful growth, observable growth within ourselves, within other people, growth that we have a hand in helping to create, and growth within society that we have a help in creating better values into society, better policies perhaps, better community, our local community. We witness the growth, and if we had a hand in that, that's deeply meaningful. Now, what about the foundation then? So I really started at the end, which is the aim is growth, witnessing growth that we had a hand in creating. That makes a meaningful life. But there's a lot of foundation to that, okay? And, well, as always, or as often, it's very helpful for me to think about Maslow's hierarchy of growth, right? We start at the biochemical level, really, the physical level. To have meaningful work and contribution to ourselves and to others, we need to start to make sure that our body habits, our mind-body habits, are beneficial, are contributory to our purpose, right? Which is, again, okay, I didn't mention that word yet until now in this video. Meaningful, fulfilling life essentially is a life of living in purpose. And I suggest that what is most purposeful is to contribute to the growth within ourselves, others, and society. Okay. And you could say spiritual growth, of course, within ourselves, others, and society as well. But it begins with, if your body and mind habits are not good, right? If you easily give yourself into addictions, if you're addicted to multiple things that distract you from acting, behaving in purpose, on purpose, well, it's impossible to live a meaningful, fulfilling life. So I think body, mind, habits, which has a lot to do with noticing our addictions, and then changing our addictions towards positive ones. Instead of being addicted to staying up late, if you find yourself doing things that are not meaningful, that are not contributory, purposeful, then, if you stay up late because you're tired and you're just like playing video games or watching TV or scrolling social media or doing whatever else that later you regret, that you wish you would have spent the time even more purposefully, well, then you need to change that addiction to being addicted to going to bed at a good time. Good habits is another way of saying a good addiction. You need to become addicted to going to bed at a good time so that you get enough rest, so that you can wake up refreshed the next day with enough energy and energy of mind and body to live and work purposefully, right? So that's an example of the biochemical mind-body habits are super important. Sleep is really the first thing that I would look at. Are you getting enough sleep and rest? Are you, and rest, sleep is of course the nightly sleep, but are you getting enough rest throughout the day? Taking breaks so that you don't burn out, right? That's really important. That's the first one. And then of course, exercise is hugely important. Are you getting enough body activity so that you can get good sleep, right? Exercise and sleep are greatly intertwined. So are you getting enough exercise, during a week, throughout the week, so that your body stays flexible and vibrant, and you're getting good sleep as well? Are you getting good nutrition, right? Are you addicted to certain foods that you can maybe shift your addiction towards positive foods, good foods that are good for you? Social is a huge important. Your social life, is your social life giving you energy and purpose, or is it draining your energy and purpose? Or do you don't have a social life, then it creates loneliness and lack of heart, you might say. So social is big. So I'm just setting up the foundations towards that ability to live a life of purpose and contribution, such that you see the growth in yourself and in others. So mind, body, habits, your social habits, what you choose to do for work is huge, of course. Now, I know some of you watching this are either stuck in a job that you don't like. If you're in a job that you enjoy, well, that's what a blessing, because you're able to support yourself, maybe your family financially, and then hopefully even have additional time to continue pursuing work that is even more meaningful, work that contributes to your growth and the growth of others and society in a way that you really want to see. Most of us, probably all of us, and let me just say this, I think all of us have the opportunity to create even more purposeful work. I mean, right now, I would say I am very blessed to have already created a business that feels very purposeful to me, right? And yet, there are still parts of this business that I need to do for money, that could be even more purposeful, that could even be more meaningful for me, and I need to set aside additional time. It's kind of like most of my business projects need to still pay the bills and create financial stability, but I need to also carve out some time for business projects that are more meaningful, that might not create money yet, but might down the road, that are likely to create money down the road, so that I can have a livelihood doing even more meaningful work, right? Like all of us are in that situation. Maybe you're in a job right now, or maybe you don't have a job and don't have your business set up right now, and you're working on that. Well, in the beginning, you might need to provide services and products that other people are easily willing to pay for before you can provide services and products that people are less likely to pay for, but would pay for it if you created enough content and built enough trust with them, such that they would be willing to pay for whatever you sell. But at the beginning, you might need to sell things that other people want to pay for, and you're not as happy about, you're not as meaningful about, but they're willing to pay for it, and you don't mind doing as much, right? You can bring some purpose to the work that others are willing to pay for. You can always bring meaning and love and joy and your values into whatever work it is that other people are willing to pay for, that you must do at the moment to support yourself financially, while you also carve out additional time. Maybe it's evenings and weekends, or early mornings, or taking a day off every now and then to work on even more purposeful work, right? Okay, so work is really big in our sense of contribution to growth, and therefore a fulfilling life. Okay, so what else is foundational here is your view of money. Okay, this is also big. How you view money is foundational to whether you are able to live a fulfilling life. So let me explain. If you are at the poorer end of the money thing right now, you don't have much finances right now, then your view of money might be one of fear, right? Maybe a bit of desperation sometimes. And those views are understandable. They're natural coming from financial scarcity. But they're also, and also you might view money as being hard to earn. You might view money as, some of us might view money as being dirty, corrupt, evil, the root of all evil, that kind of thing. All those views, especially at a poverty level, well, probably it's not going to help you to have financial stability. It's not, at least it's working against you. And so changing your view of money towards one of, okay, money is what connects people. It connects someone who wants something and wants a product or service to someone who can provide it. That's money is simply the attracting force. It's like a magnet. It's like a magnet attractor force between someone who wants a product or service, who needs something, they're looking for it, and someone who can provide it. It's like if you see money as the attracting force to that, then you go, oh, okay, got it. Money allows me to connect contributionally to other people who want something that I can provide. Got it. Okay, so let me provide something that other people want. Then money is naturally going to be a natural outflow of that. Let me provide a service or product that people are looking for right now but can't find quite at the type of style that I can provide. They can't find someone to do a good job doing this or that. Well, I'm going to work hard to do a good job, and I'm going to make good customer service and provide a good service, make it effective and provide good customer service, and therefore I deserve to be paid well for that, right? Of course. And so that's on the poverty end of things. You can, uplift your view of money to that it's good, and that it's an indicator that you're providing a service people want. All the way to the other end of someone who is rich but unhappy, right? The view of money is like a lot of rich people view money like a score. Like, oh, the more money, the higher my status in the eyes of other people. And so they just have to keep making more money, because whenever they make more money, they then see other people who have even more money, even more higher status, and therefore they're unhappy. Status, happiness that comes from status is always based on comparison. Well, I'm more higher status than this person, or this person's higher status than me, and therefore I'm not there yet. And so the view of money on the rich side is like, we've got to like remove status and just look at enoughness of money as being the ability to set up a meaningful life of contribution, of growth. And if we can witness growth, whatever level of money we're at, if it allows us to contribute growth and provide for our body, mind care, and the care of our families, that's enough, right? What is enough to provide for reasonable, not lavish, but reasonable care and reasonable contribution of work? That's enough, right? Like I'm so grateful I've gotten to the enough place where it's like, yeah, I still need to continue making some money, but it's like, it's really enough. I don't need to make much more. Okay, it's enough for me to give me the time and the energy and the self-care to then provide as much contribution as I can to witness the growth in myself and in others. Ultimately, the ultimate foundation for me is spirituality. Because for me, spirituality gives the proper view of things, in my opinion. It gives the proper perspective about what life is about. What even makes life meaningful? How did I even get to that end definition of life is meaningful because of growth? Well, it's because of the ultimate foundation of spirituality, whatever that means for you. You don't have to believe in a deity. You don't have to believe in the afterlife. But a spiritual view is a view that is beyond just what society says is physically important, right? Materially important. It's beyond that. It's looking at the biggest picture you can to define your view of what life is about, and also gives you the motivation to climb this ladder of taking care of yourself, right, and your family, taking care of your work, taking care of your view of money, and then taking care of the ultimate purpose, and letting the ultimate purpose define and inform all of that towards a much more meaningful way of behaving and of living. Every moment in life can be meaningful, I believe, if we take on a more spiritual view and bring our spiritual values into the moment at hand. Anyway, I hope this is meaningful. I look forward to seeing if you want to add any comments below, and thank you so much for joining me on this journey.